All right, let's talk about CJ Stroud and the Texans, who ultimately fall short against the Kansas City Chiefs, but I thought played pretty well in this one. I thought CJ Stroud played really well in this one. Ultimately, he just didn't have enough. The offensive line made some mistakes, and I think really the secondary receivers weren't quite able to get enough, but there was some really impressive stuff here as well for Stroud. So let's talk about the good and the bad. There were some mistakes down the stretch, and we'll talk about those as well. Yeah, let's just get into it. So let's start off with this play. I want to start off with a positive here from CJ Stroud and from the Texans. There were definitely both good offensive plays and not so good offensive plays. This one, it's going to be a 3rd down and 10. It's a cover 1 blitz on this play, and this is something we wanted to see from CJ Stroud. He's such a good runner, but he doesn't love to run. However, on this play, pressure comes from the offense's left. He steps up. There's a gap for him to run through, and give credit to him. On a 3rd and 10, I think a lot of players would be a little hesitant to run, even if they're rushing quarterbacks. He's, again, not someone who does this naturally, but he's really good at it. He reads this is, a good situation. Here's an issue for Stroud. Right there, Nick Bolton, the Chiefs linebacker right here. So, he reads this play. His job in this play was to cover the halfback. The halfback's blocking, so he kind of just drops back over the middle. If he can race down Stroud, well, then they can get a tackle and force the Texans to punt, but that's just not easy to do. As you see, Stroud runs by him. And then I do have to say, at a certain point, you can slide if you want to. I get the appeal to not. But at the same time, I'm sure he's thinking, I don't care that I'm already banged up. Playing the Kansas City Chiefs, playing the champs. Got to do what we can. Got to try and make something happen. Unfortunately for Houston, I thought one issue was, so you knew Kansas City was going to do their best to take away Nico Collins, who is not the player I've circled on this one. Nico Collins, obviously a superstar level receiver. The question was, who else is going to step up? And to be honest, Houston had some trouble with that. First, you see right here, this is Jared Wayne, who's going to just fall down on this play. He was open. It was a good route, but he just fell down because of that, not able to get that completion. So there was a few of these where it's like you have an opportunity, and it's hard enough to beat the Chiefs once on a drive. You can't put yourself into position where you have to beat them multiple times. Like also this is going to be Xavier Hutchinson, who had a couple of targets on, early on that he wasn't able to connect on. Some were good defense, but this one is, it's honestly, it's a good play. Watch, good concept. It's zone coverage, but he's open, and it's that one's hard to blame him entirely on. He got his hands on it, so it's not impossible to blame him, right? But the timing was a little bit off because Stroud was getting it there a little bit quicker than Hutchinson was ready for. Now, I would still put that on Hutchinson. I think he needed to get his head around a little bit quicker, but nonetheless, there's at least a little bit. It's a little bit different, but still, these were opportunities that they weren't able to convert on. That turned it into a 3rd down and 8 that they did not get the conversion on and had to punt. If he makes that catch, then they're able to get, potentially a field goal there. So missed opportunities for sure. Although one guy we did see step up, I thought, who had a couple plays here in the second quarter was John Mechie, who you're going to see him. This is a one-on-one matchup right here, and, quite frankly, I don't know how he makes this catch. So, pure one-on-one matchup, cover 1 blitz, 2 minutes left, and the Texans, they need to get points on this drive. It just feels like not getting points here puts them in a real tough spot. As you see, so CJ Stroud's going to take the snap. This is, I'm not going to say this is not bad coverage. This is great coverage. I don't know how you can try and make this throw. Stroud's just kind of saying yeah, we got to push the ball down the field here. We need points on this possession. And then somehow, watching it live, I'm like, okay, that's, rule to catch. That's obviously the wrong call. But no, it was the correct call. Mechie makes the grab. He had a couple nice grabs and able to, help get them in field goal range. So definitely some positives here for the Houston Texans. No doubt about it. Although we also saw Steve Spagnuolo rear his ugly head. Rear his head. That's not an expression. What am I saying? We saw Steve Spagnuolo have some good concepts in this game. Like this one, for example. This is a play that, watching it live, you might just say, well, offensive line stinks. That sucks for the Texans, and move on. But it's actually really clever by Spagnuolo. So for one thing, the Texans have 3 guys blocking towards their left, which kind of makes sense. Chris Jones is on that side. He's actually lined up as an edge, but he's still on that side. So there's a good chance that 3 players will be blocking on that side if you're Spagnuolo. So look at what he's doing on the other side. You have 3 players there, only 2 offensive linemen to block those 3 players if they all rush the passer. You don't know if the linebacker Nick Bolton is going to rush the passer or not, but still, that's the situation. But as you see, what happens is Nick Bolton doesn't rush the passer, but the guard, Shaq Mason, is just a little bit slow in picking up who he's supposed to block. If Bolton did rush the passer, he would block Bolton. If not, he blocks the other player. If this was a blitz, the halfback would pick it up, but since it's not a blitz, it was simply just a little move to try and help fool the offensive line, and it worked. It got them a sack there. There was then a missed field goal that, I'm going to be honest, wouldn't have made it from 20 yards. It was so off, but maybe it was so off because the kicker had to put so much of his leg into it, trying to make a 55-yarder instead of a 52-yarder. Who knows? Starting off the second half, we saw a really impressive drive by the Houston Texans. There was this play, which was a 3rd down and 1. They're going to run this, they're going to fake it so they're going to be running the ball. Stroud's going to roll out towards the top of the screen. You see Stroud takes the snap. He's, fakes the handoff. And Nico Collins, who was in and out of the lineup on this drive. In fact, he just came in on this play because it's 3rd and 1. They need all hands on deck. Stroud just firing one his direction. And as you see, I mean, this works really well. I mean, it's a really good catch by Collins, who then went back on the sideline. Like, he just went in, banged up, went in to make one incredible catch, and then went, back to the sideline. You then had this one, which is a 3rd down and 6. It looked like it was a 1st down. They didn't get credit for the 1st down. It was 3rd and 1, and then they commit a penalty, so then it becomes 3rd down and 6. But on man coverage, cover 2 man that the Chiefs are in right here, you see Stroud takes the snap. He doesn't love what he sees. It's a hard coverage to pass against because if you go down the field, then it's double coverage. But you're going to see him rush down the field, and it's Justin Reed. Stroud's already gotten banged up in this game. The last thing he wants is to take another hit. But at the same time, I mean, you want this play. You want this conversion. And he's saying, you know what? Like, again, we're playing the champs. We got to do what we can. As you see, he does, take the hit, but he gets the 1st down. It's a trade I'm sure he would take again. Really good stuff there by CJ Stroud. And to be able to pick that up, again, keeps the drive going. But also, got to talk about this. I mean, got to give credit to the guy who was getting a lot of carries here, Joe Mixon. You're going to see here, he is going to, I mean, it's really well blocked, too. How about the Texans blocking here? Mixon, I mean, he kind of danced his way in. Jonathan Taylor can tell you, hey, make sure you get in first and then celebrate. But no harm, no foul there. Really good drive there. Unfortunately, they missed the extra point. And even more unfortunately, the Chiefs then scored 7 right after that. And then going over here, so you get a 4th down and 10. This is a tough situation, and this is, the Chiefs secondary really stood strong on a couple of drives. They had a 3-and-out right after this as well. But it's 4th and 10. It's one of those weird situations where do you punt? You're only really getting like 30 yards of field position. You might get a touchback, and then it's only 20 yards of field position. I'm not going to crush the decision to go for it here. What I will say, though, is you have to, and this is part of why I like analytics, is they can just help you make your decisions quicker of if, really they took too long to decide if they wanted to go for it. You see there's 1 second on the play clock, and they just got to the line. I mean, it's kind of a miracle they got this play off. But because of that, Stroud can't read the play. He can't see what's happening. It's actually cover 2 man, but with a little bit of a twist. So if you, essentially for the Chiefs players, if they see that the player they're supposed to cover is blocking, they then run in and essentially just take away that blocker. The goal is to, try to keep as many people rushing the passer as possible. So because of this, it ends up essentially being a heavy blitz. And for Stroud, who looks down the field, there's pressure. To be honest, he probably needs to just fire this one. Even if it's intercepted, that might even be better because it's unlikely that the return will get back to the 40s. So, it's 4th down and 10. You got to throw up a jump ball. I think he thought he could maybe get around this pressure. But as you see, that ends up being not what happens. He does get chased down, and it's a big sack. Helped to get the Chiefs, helped field position-wise. Now, the Chiefs get the 3-and-out, so it didn't completely win it for you. But then you went 3-and-out back, so again, the field position still matters. So, yeah, not an ideal situation there. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. Again, I thought this was an impressive day from Stroud. Maybe not a perfect day, but a pretty good one. Again, I don't know. It would have taken a lot to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and this was a competitive game for most of it. Ultimately, guys just couldn't get open consistently enough, and maybe one mistake too many from him was the difference. But, yeah, those are my thoughts on Stroud's performance. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And, of course, as always, thanks for watching.